What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel with myself, David, Millionaire Incorporated. And as you know, I like to go over the Forex pair pound yen on weekends and do a bit of a review and see what actually happened, what you could have looked for, and what could potentially be happening for the week moving forward. So if you're new to the channel, guys, don't forget, smash that subscribe button, drop me a like, leave me a comment, let me know what you actually think about the pair itself as well, what it could be doing moving down the line. And if you're a returning viewer, thanks again, guys. Thanks for the support. Really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed yet, like I said, same thing. Smash that subscribe button because it would mean a lot to me, or at least drop me a like because that also helps a lot with the YouTube algorithm, and it also lets me know that you actually find value in these videos. Now, I do get that looking at charts on the weekend is a bit retrospective as to what you could have done or what could have actually happened trading-wise, but it also kind of allows you to see what you can look forward to moving forward as well for your own trading and what kind of skills you need to develop to actually improve and develop further. So let's get stuck straight into it today, guys. So pretty interesting week, or pretty straightforward week. It was actually a very bearish week. So as you can see, it pretty much just got to a top of a peak here of 153.30 and then just collapsed completely right all the way down to 149.6. So the week opened up around just here, pretty much close to where it closed last week, up at that high of about 152, 153 area. And as I was saying last week, I was kind of looking at it or watching it to see if it could come up a little bit higher to this 153.50 area, which, as you can see, I got it marked just there. So first day or so kind of came up, and you can see it was kind of starting to stall there and actually exhaust. So you could have actually drawn in a bit of a what's it called, a zone just here, saying what to watch out for, saying, all right, kind of exhausted there, couldn't really push past it around that 153 area, and could look to even taking a sell as you saw it exhaust and kind of collapse. So I actually did do that at the end of this one of these candles here. I'll actually put it up to the 1 hour because I did it on the 1 hour there. So you can see kind of came up, exhausted, came down, came back up, tried breaking all the way through and closed here. So that's actually where I took the trade from for that short position. Now, I didn't hold this all the way, I will be completely honest with you there. I only took it to about here because I was still looking at it to kind of come up higher, but I did see it being able to kind of drop a little bit. What a lot of my friends did in the group which I trade with, they actually held on to this for quite a bit and actually got all the way down to that 152 area right down the bottom here. So as you can see, let's pop in our numbers as I always like to do. So 40 pip stop loss, 80 pip take profit at minimum, and you can actually see quite a straightforward trade there. As I said, on the hour, closed below the that 153 area where it kind of exhausted and then just kind of collapsed. So overall for the week, it actually ended up dropping from that point there a total of, I'll go from that 153, one second, wrong ruler. Go from that 153, or actually where I actually ended it from, so that 153.25, and took it all the way down to about there. So you can see that's actually about 360 pips. So would have been a pretty decent week to take trades from. You could have actually taken it to this area just here, which is 117 pips, which is an area I've actually marked out before, and even just here, which you could have actually taken it to about there, where it would have actually been an area of a zone of interest. So you can actually see already how it's kind of exhausted there, created that exhaustion zone there, and actually respected that as well when it broke above. So that would have been actually a decent kind of place to take it to. So that would have been one of your first trades. As it kind of kept, I'll delete that, as it kind of kept dropping there, you could have actually taken another trade as it retested this area here, as it broke below that area. And I kind of got that area from this line chart here, so you can kind of see broke below that, kind of drew that kind of horizontal ray there to look for an area of support or resistance. As you can see, it kind of broke through that, dropped all the way down, came back up, tested it before it continued further. So let's drop back down to the 1 hour and actually see what actually did in that area. So you can actually see, came up, tested that area there. You can actually even say tested this area just here before collapsing again. So another short position could have been taken from there. Let's enter those details. 40 and 80. And it kind of almost comes straight back down to that next zone of interest, which was just here. So these are all areas I've actually marked up on the charts previously. So you can always go back and watch my previous videos to see what I was actually talking about. As the price was moving, I was kind of drew these areas in which I was looking at moving forward. I've actually deleted a few because now they serve no purpose for me. And you always want to kind of keep in mind, you want to look for major areas of either support or resistance, like areas where it has made a pretty significant move from. So this area here kind of came down, then all of a sudden took off again. As it came back up, it tested that area before it took off all the way down again. And then obviously kind of created that W pattern down the bottom there, which is an area which I'm actually kind of keeping an eye on for it to kind of potentially even come lower to again. But as you can see, as it kind of came lower, it did finally exhaust here. So potentially you could even take another trade just there as well. So pop it there. As always, guys, you know the deal. And that could have been something to trade. So you can see it kind of, as I was trying to retrace, it exhausted, couldn't get the momentum, kind of keep moving higher, and then completely collapsed down again. And could have taken it to around this area here, which is what I was kind of looking out for at that mark, or a little bit further down. Now, some of these zones I've actually drawn up from a daily time frame, so I'll kind of zoom out, go to the daily time frame there so you can actually see what's going on. So this area here where it actually kind of rejected off was on a daily time frame. So you can kind of see impulse correct, came to that area there. So overall, it was a pretty bearish week. As you can see, it pretty much just went down 3 days straight and potentially kind of finally exhausting down the bottom here. Now, overall, it actually still is in an uptrend. So I'll quickly kind of zoom out so you can see that a bit better. It is still moving higher, creating those higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. So this still has room to actually move higher. So I'll kind of draw an arrow here. So you guys can see it kind of exhausted here. So it could potentially kind of come back up, test this area up here finally before coming lower. And if you watched last week's video, these areas were from the weekly time frames where I looked all the way back over a year ago for areas where it could potentially find a bit of resistance moving higher, and we could actually finally start seeing a bit of a retracement lower, because even though it has been in a bull trend, quite a strong rally upwards, it is finally kind of starting to kind of see the sellers come into the market there and maybe make a move down to the downside. So on the weekly, you can actually see it was quite a bearish candle there, kind of engulfed the last week's move and half of the weeks before. So it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out moving forward. I could actually see it coming down to this area just here, which I have marked up, that 148 kind of 3 area. But it's one of those things where you just kind of watch, see what's happening with the actual price action and take trades from there. So potentially could come, I'll actually delete these now so you can actually see it before I move on though. So that's literally just 3 trades there, 2-to-1 risk reward, 80 pips profit each. That's already 240 pips, and you could have actually taken it a little bit lower as well. As I was saying, you sometimes want to take it to those major areas of support resistance, like to about there. You could have, that's already 100 pips. This one could have kind of left there where it was. That was pretty good. This one here you could have taken all the way down to about here where I was saying that daily zone is, and you can actually see here back then the 4-hour candles actually respect that area before moving higher. So that's what, 110, 80, 99. So that's what, 290 almost. So almost 300 pips just there alone. And as I was saying earlier on, the entire move itself did make 350 pips to the downside before kind of starting to have a reasonable retracement. And I was saying this as well with the pound yen pair in the past, that you have to be careful with it and give it actual room to move, because it can make significant moves to either downside or upside without any consideration of where you're wanting the price to actually go. Now, full disclosure, I actually had a pretty flat week this week. Mindset still isn't in it. I'm still kind of dealing with a few things, personal things, got a lot on my plate going on in the backgrounds with property and things like that, having run around, deal with contracts and grants and stuff like that, and financing. It does take up a lot of my spare time, so I wasn't fully invested in the charts. And as I said last week, when trading, you do have to pay quite a fair bit of attention to the charts and have an eye on the ball and actually see what's actually happening and moving and going on there. So I only took, like I said, that one trade at the start of the week, which is actually quite reasonable. Then I tried taking some shorts elsewhere, but kind of got stopped out because silly areas to invest in or take trades in. Like, it was literally like in the middle of zones where it could actually go higher or lower depending on what's going on. But yeah, I digress. So week moving ahead, as I said, we are starting to see a bit of kind of exhaustion here at the bottom, but it was still quite a bearish week. So we could see it even continue a little bit lower. So it did respect this area just here. So it could actually move lower to the downside, I was saying, to about here before coming back up higher. In saying that as well, it could actually move higher first without actually, wrong thing there. Completely missed that one. So it could actually move completely higher from the word get-go and retrace higher. So as I said, overall, it is still in an actual uptrend. We have seen this impulse down now, so we should see a bit of a correction move higher, or it continue its move higher. As always, watch price action. Just kind of monitor it, see what's actually going on with it, and just make sure your stops are in place and your take profits are in place as well, guys. So as I always say, hopefully that's been informative to you. You've learnt a fair bit from that. Drop me a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think the pair's going to do for the week moving ahead as well. And don't forget, smash that subscribe button because it will mean the world to me, and also the like button. Cheers, guys. Catch you next week.